This is Bike Trails Podcast with Christina and Alan. We hope you enjoy listening. Christina, this might have been the most beautiful ride I've ever taken in my life. What do you think?
Same here.
Yeah?
It was up and down, up and down, up and down. But besides that, beautiful bike lanes, great nature, great cycling weather. So I loved it.
I was very happy with the up and down today because it was a very interesting route. Everything was like, you never knew what was going to come. You looked at the Wahoo that shows the route, and it just looked like a series of like teeth, you know? It was like, what did we say? It's like that interval training on the Peloton. It's like up and then down, up and then down. But you never really got a feel for it. It was always different. Up these large hills or these small little bumps, just like along the river sometimes we would be climbing, and then there'd be this really long downhill and it would chew up a couple of kilometers and we wouldn't even know it. So yeah, this was an amazing ride. Many different little villages, and I found it just so charming.
It was super charming, and when looking at the map, one would just think, oh, it's along the river all the time. So, you know, when in Germany, when you ride along the river, it's mainly downhill a little bit. So like Donauradweg, where almost everyone can ride a bike.
Or Fünf-Flüsse.
Or Fünf-Flüsse Radweg. But yesterday, I must say, it was professional interval training. At least it felt for me. And well, we saw all of these really fit semi-professionals, race bikers, overtaking us.
Chewing up the road.
Yeah, and they were even chatting, you know, while they were going up the hill with 20 plus kilometers an hour. I mean, I was even happy to reach 20 on an even road, you know, with all the luggage we have. But yeah, it was super nice. And again, Südtirol, when the apple tree plantages are coming up, and I know people are just very friendly. So when we talked to that man in Schabes or something, where I said in Bavarian, "Gibt's a Wirtschaft da?" And he said, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, but we don't have that here, but I can give you tips." And then he were chatting about his bike rides and what he did with the kids. And he was just very friendly. And the people in that Sonneck hotel restaurant place where all the workers had lunch were also super friendly. And the sun was shining and the mountains were beautiful. And the air was, in the morning when it was colder, it was crisp but clear. And I had the feeling, oh my God, I eventually can breathe again. And it's just so beautiful here.
Yes, I have to say that there are fewer, more beautiful places that I personally have seen. And I'm sure many people around the world can argue that their place is the most beautiful or something like this, and it's probably true. But this particular route was just amazing. The thing I like most about this is the hills actually have just an enormous amount of things going on. They're steep enough to be outrageously beautiful and like just sitting there over you, but they're not steep enough to like not have anything on them. So they're filled with farms and little towns and pastures, and it's just, it's like a fantasy painting basically.
But have we told the listeners already from where to where we went yesterday?
Yeah, so our frequent Patreon listeners, which there are 0 of, have known that yesterday we arrived in Sterzing, which is a little bit south of the Bruneck Pass, the Brenner Pass, and then we rode from Sterzing to Bruneck today. So we went kind of due south, and then just before Brixen, we took a left, and we followed the Rienz River, I think it is.
Yeah.
And when I say followed the river, I said generally followed it because, like you said, we were not really next to the river all day long. We were just in the river valley. Yeah, and then we went on to Bruneck, which is an incredible city. Really, really beautiful. So the ride was great, and the views are fantastic. It's very little to, criticize or have a problem with, or even think, I wish this thing was different.
Oh,
just
I
like that
wished the autobahns were a little bit further away. I mean, the bike lanes were perfect, but they were often along the autobahn.
You're right, but there's like the main travel road, the train, the river, and the bike lanes are all kind of squeezed into the center of the valley, and they crisscross and intertwine at various parts. Sometimes they're right on top of each other. I think we were riding underneath the roadway for a while, and then sometimes they're very far apart and you don't really know or see them. So I guess that would be, but hey, come on, I mean, riding under the highways, at least it's cool. And the weather was perfect. It was just a perfect jewel of a day. I think that what we experienced in Brenner, from super hot to super rain, was a function of the mountain pass, and then here today, it was just amazing. Yep. We helped someone. We were good Samaritans as well.
Oh yeah, since my husband is a super bike repair kit professional person.
Thanks.
I saw that guy when going down the hill, and his chain was stuck behind the little plastic ring that was in the inner side of the different, how is this called in English?
I don't really know. I think it's like a geek ring or some bad description of it. Basically, this is the plastic divider protector that is shipped with the bike from the factory. And the reason why it exists is because people haven't yet perfectly set their limit screws. So when you are doing that and your chain might fall over the top of your cassette while you're doing this, and if you don't have this plastic thing there, possibly you could damage the wheel or get it really stuck or something like this. But if you have properly set limit screws, our bikes don't have this, so it's not a problem. But this poor fellow had a big problem.
Yeah, so I saw him fiddling around with the chain, and the bike was upside down. And then I asked, do you need some help? And he said, if you're a bike technician. And I said, no, but my husband is a bike technician. So you helped him, and it was not easy at all, because you had to take the rear wheel off to get the chain out of the stuckness.
You really had to pry it out with a tool and pull it really hard. I was afraid. I didn't want to cut myself because, when you got a lot of hands in there doing stuff, one way, pulling this way or that way. But we got him back on the road. And when we left, we turned around and he was hike-a-bike up the hill. He was
because he fell. He said that somehow he was going up that hill and he wanted to unclick because he couldn't go up anymore, and he wasn't able to unclick, so he fell on his knees down somehow, and then this is when the chain stuck. So but I mean, it was very nice to see him at least walk away again with a functioning bike. And I was so proud of you, because I'm not sure if those fit-looking race bikers would have been able to solve that problem.
Yeah, I think most bikers would be able to if they had the tools, but no one has the tools. Luckily for him, I have like an entire bike repair shop with me. So short of welding, I think we could have fixed most anything, Yeah. So it was a great day, and coming into Bruneck was really fun. This was like nice little bike paths along the river. I guess St. Laurent was the little village before Bruneck. And this is like if somehow, Disney manufactured the perfect Italian little village with the perfect church and the perfect square and little cafes with people in them eating in the afternoon and drinking.
A beautiful elementary school and a playground.
The elementary school
I
looked
would
like a
have liked,
modern art museum.
yeah, but I would have liked to go and use the playground, you
Yeah.
know. They had hiking possibilities and all that kind of stuff, surrounded by beautiful mountains. I would like to live there.
It was really stunning. So yeah, that was the main part of the day. We just tooled around Bruneck at nighttime, just walked around. We're staying in a great hotel, and we have a strange balcony off of our room, which is like a bridge to another building, but it doesn't go to the other building. It just stops at a wall.
It's super great.
Yeah.
It's like all the other houses have that too from time to time.
Okay.
It's a connectivity, a balcony that spans over the little tiny street that's underneath.
I think underneath this is a walkway that goes to the next building, and on top of the walkway is the balcony. Right?
Yes, and this is where we are. And
yeah, it's
I did yoga
very
on
pretty.
it. That was beautiful to stretch out my muscles after the bike ride. So super cool.
So yeah, I think our Wahoo lied to us yesterday because it said we were supposed to do like 520 climbing meters, and we ended up at like 680 or something like this. You know, the distance is always varying because we go left and right and check this or that out, but the height meters should be about the same, but somehow we kind of blew through that. I don't know what that spells for today. Today I think we have about 80 kilometers and about 350 meters of climbing, but the beauty is we have 700 meters of descent, which is great. So hopefully get a little relaxation today, you know.
Let's try that.
Yes. So any wise words to end our day today, Christina?
Cyclists, open up your eyes where you go, because my husband has been almost killed yesterday while riding down towards a street, and
maybe we should say something about that.
I got a tiny little heart attack just watching this.
So our bike lane ended at like a road at like a, I don't know what it would be, 130, 40 degree angle, and you couldn't see around the corner, but it was just a tiny small little road. It looked like almost like a driveway to something. And as I came up to this road, I'm always worried about other cyclists coming up as well and making the turn into me. So I'm always very cautious to kind of like lean into the curve and then peek around the corner first. And this time I did that. There was a guy in a Fiat driving like 4,000 miles an hour and like singing to the radio, and I would have been nothing but a wet spot on the front of this car if I had just, you know, tooled off from transitioning from the bike path. So always check your lead.
Definitely.
Yeah, but so my final word of the day is you did great pacing me up all those hills. I want to thank you for that, because they were heavier today than I would have thought. I remember we made some changes to our Wahoo, so it shows the grade right on our map page. And I remember we topped out at like 18% on a couple of hills. So I was thinking a couple of days ago, I would never have been able to do that. So somehow magically we're getting fitter, I think. I don't know. It doesn't seem that way, but maybe we are. So yeah. So that's it. It was a great day. Highly recommend this route, Sterzing to Bruneck. If you're going to do this, make sure this is on your cycling list. All right.
Okay.
Until tomorrow.
Bye.